Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We got another recap of Love Island Australia Season 3. This is episode 19 recap. Boy, do we have a lot of pettiness in this episode. And there might be trouble in paradise for one couple. But before we jump into this, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. If you like the video, smash the like button. And also feel free to drop a comment down in the comment section below. And also thanks for your support of the channel. I really truly appreciate it. So the episode started off where we left off with the whole hideaway romantic night with Jess and Aaron, and they seemed like they were doing fine at this moment. I mean, really truly, I was excited for them in the beginning. They were just sweet. What can I say, right? So, I mean, it's unfortunate toward the end of the episode how things go left with these two, but especially after having such a great night in the hideaway, right? But we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But for now, it seemed like they're in a good place. However, we do have this situation where Lexi pulls Ben aside and calls him out for his so-called rude comments in the bedroom the night before. Because remember, Ben compared Lexi to a brick wall. And Ben was like, yeah, I know. I've accepted it and I apologize for it. And Ben says that, hey, to be honest, I'm telling you how I feel. And for being honest, she calls him out for the behavior. And honest, rude, it's a personality trait. You're just being rude. And I'm like, okay, Lexi, you don't want a guy to lie to you. And when he don't lie to you and basically tell you you're treating me with a brick wall, even though he kind of added an expletive to it, but you were treating him like a brick wall. You don't want a guy to lie to you, yet when he's honest with you, it's rude. Honesty and rude, I just think you don't want to hear it because you're pissed off at Ryan. That's a whole nother story. But Ben was like, hey, if you think what honest and rude is in the same thing, I'm just telling the truth. And she was like, no, I just think you're trying to annoy me. And I'm like, I think you annoying everybody at this point, Lexi, because you're pissed off about what didn't go your way. You should have took your own advice before coming on back to the OG villa and just said, let me go home. Because you knew what Ryan was going to do. If you weren't in this situation with Ben, then you should have just let him go. You lied and said you told him about a friend zone relationship in episode 18. And then now we're going back and forth about him being rude when he's being honest with you. Okay, whatever. But I'm done. I actually think Lexi needs to go home, but that's just my thoughts. Let's continue. And speaking of Ryan, his new girl, Taylor, had revealed to the other girls that she's starting to see red flags with Ryan, kind of noting how quickly his head turns for new girls. She also had a conversation which she expressed her concerns with Taku in the makeup room, telling him that she's not used to having so many compliments from a guy. But then I'm just like, how many girls do you do this to? Is it just me, or do you just jump from girl to girl? And Taylor went on to tell Taku that she's normally obsessed with the guy, but she's not obsessed with Ryan. So that got her feeling some kind of way that she may not be as serious or into him as much as he is into her. So I know I saw some comments and I heard some other things that this might be a little bit of karma for Ryan. Let me know what you guys think about that theory. But looks like Taylor is on the downslide when it comes to her feelings for Ryan. And he is definitely feeling some kind of way about that. But hey, you never know what happens on Love Island. But let's continue. So the Islanders get a text that they are heading to what is called the Shaken and Stirred challenge where the girls and the guys have said something about each other behind its back and the truth comes out. They are told to comment and then they must guess who said it about them by pouring a drink on them. Well, it's all fun and games until Lexi had to guess who said, "I don't think she's that good looking." And of course, we see Ryan laughing as Lexi poured her drink over him and then makes a mistake of opening his mouth again. Now, my thing is, he said that they had this conversation before. So if he had already told her, as he called it, straight away in the beginning and she was okay with it then, but now outside of the breakup, now she finds fault with it, I find that pretty interesting. But, I mean, it went back and forth. She called him an a-hole. She was like, what did I do to him? Nothing. This also kind of rubs Taylor, who's sitting right next to her, the wrong way as well, because you know she's already feeling some kind of way and seeing red flags about him. And she was like, all this is just unnecessary. The problem is with these two, because both of them are wrong. Ryan's reaction is because of because of Lexi's previous actions. Because she's been throwing jabs. We saw that in episode 18. She was making all these noises and clicking sounds and everything to taunt. Now, he should have been the bigger man and just say, you know what? I already said that I didn't think her maturity was there. I'm just going to let her just represent herself as who she is and take the high road. But no, he played right back into it and reacted, and it made them both look petty. They both look petty in this whole game. And it got so bad that I think they said, the announcer on the show said that they actually stopped the game and made them run back to look like they were excited to get back to the villa. It was just that crazy. And then he was like, I was being honest. I was telling you the truth. And she was like, it's not necessary. And he was like, well, at least, you know, if you calling me an a-hole, at least I'm not vain. I mean, it's just back and forth. And I mean, it's just crazy. And Taylor, she was just not feeling it. She's just not feeling it. You know, honestly, Lexi should have went home. If she wasn't feeling Ben and she knew Ryan had moved on, she should have went home. That was what she said in episode 16 and 17. She should have went home. So for her to come back, use this guy as a lifeline, meaning Ben, to get her back into the villa, which is what Ben said on the Truth Bike in episode 18, that she just used him to stay in the villa because look what she's doing to him and stonewalling him now. It's just crazy. So, anywho, Taylor has a sit-down chat with Ryan and said, you know, you sounded pretty bad in that challenge. I didn't like it. You don't need to effing, well, she said, actually, you do need to effing think before you speak. And Ryan replied saying, look, I was just being honest. And it's one thing to be honest, and a lot of people can't, as Jack Nicholson say, you can't handle the truth. But I think it went over to a level of pettiness because, yes, you told her what you told her straight away in the beginning about the whole looks thing. She didn't have a problem with it then. Now in this challenge, she does. Just take the high road. She's pissed right now, and she needs to deal with her emotions. But it makes him look a part of the pettiness. It just sucks. And, of course, Taylor is just said, you know, you dug yourself in a hole with what you were saying. You know, and I don't blame Taylor because she's like, this man brought me in the midst of this stuff. And technically, he could have protected her a little bit more from this because Lexi was going to do Lexi no matter what. Lexi's wrong. I got to say that because she's saying she's not doing anything, but she's being extremely passive aggressive. We know you pissed, but can you move on? He's trying to. He made a choice. Y'all only been talking for 2 weeks. It's not like y'all been in a relationship for 2 years. So, you know, it's like, get over it. But she said, Taylor told him, just so you know, if you ever come for me and my appearance, I will knock you one. I just hate that. I think that's a low blow. And I think Taylor said that she had some experiences with people saying things about her looks. So, of course, that tacked into, some of the things that she was feeling as well. And so it seems like, Taylor told Ryan, I think you need to have a conversation with Lexi. At this point, I don't think it's warranted because, as we will talk about, it was pointless because Lexi is stuck in her emotions. She's not going anywhere. And yeah, it does something for him to say have a conversation and maybe give some closure. But if that person is not receptive to it, it makes no difference at this point except for you so you can close the door. But let's see what happened in that conversation. So Ryan does pull Lexi for a chat and kind of fumble somewhat of this apology. And Lexi was like, well, what did I do wrong to you? I didn't do nothing. You didn't do anything wrong to me. I just literally said your personality makes you look even more gorgeous. That's what I meant. That's what Ryan ended up saying, right? Adding that he feel like he's in the hot seat. And yes, it was rude of me. I'm very sorry. But it appears that any friendship between us is dead. And yeah, very much so. The thing about all this, as much as he tried to come up with whatever way to clean up that statement and apologize, Lexi ended up saying, you know what, I don't care what you have to say. I don't believe anything that come out of your mouth. So, and I'm looking at the show saying, okay, Ryan, you did what you did. Walk away. Let it go because it's going to be a circular argument that's not going to go anywhere. So I'm glad that the producers kind of cut to a different scene because it was like, it's a moot point now. I'm just over it. And I think a lot of you guys were over it too. Lexi go home. Ryan go home. Taylor stays and we can keep it moving. So let's keep moving. There's something else brewing on the side. And that's this whole thing with Taylor and Ben. Because Ben is like, I'm going to be Mr. Come and Steal Your Girl from Ryan. He's like, you know what, I'm normally not that type, but in this particular setting, I think Taylor is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to entertain the fact of having some conversation with her. And that didn't sit well with Lexi, even though she threw him in the friend zone, or I don't even think they're friends at this point. But you can't have it both ways, Lexi. Because while they were over there kikiing and playing around with each other and trying to get to know each other, meaning Ben and Taylor, Lexi is pissed off at Ben. It's how is the guy that I brought from the villa who's supposed to be my guy is now talking to Taylor? That is just not cool. And I'm like, girl, you just friend zoned him or not friend zoned him. I don't even think you guys are in any type of relationship at this point. You shouldn't really care what he does. I don't know if her biggest issue is both these men end up replacing her for the same girl. So maybe that's the problem. I don't know. I still say that, the immaturity is definitely showing its head. I didn't see it before the whole Ryan thing and what he said. But with everything that happened in episodes 17, 18, and now 19, it definitely shows what he's talking about. I mean, you guys know, I don't even want to go through that whole string. I went through it one by one in episode 18. We just talked about it in 19. The girl either she figure out, move on, enjoy her time, or just go home. Just go home. That's all I can say. But they need to be done and over with. And honestly, Ben and Taylor, why not? She's not feeling Ryan anymore. And then Ben is a free man at this point. So why not? Maybe they can find interest, recouple, which will send those two packing and on their way off the island. I would be perfectly fine with that, and they can move on with their lives. So Yeah. So let's talk about this other couple who got a little bit of trouble in paradise. Oh my God. And this is another petty toxic situation, but let's talk about it now. Okay, this next situation is either production produced or it's just plain old ridiculous. So Jess had a little clothing error with her boobie popping out. And so she fixed it, as they call a wardrobe malfunction. I'm sorry. Her boob kind of like escapes and she put it right back. Well, after she fixed the problem, she feels that Aaron gave her a filthy look in the moment and she's not happy. So we see her running around talking to Zoe in the beauty room about, oh my God, he must think I'm filthy and I don't like the look that he gave me and I'm feeling some kind of way about it. She decided, which she should have, ask him in the moment, are you okay? You know, what's the look on your face? And he would have gave you an answer and you can move on. Well, instead, she made a whole big stink of it. I don't think he realized my feelings were hurt. Yeah, well, I don't think he even noticed because he wasn't feeling some kind of way about anything. So he felt like the vibe was off. He's wondering why Jess is upset with him. He's trying to retrace his steps. He has absolutely no idea what he could have done wrong. Jess pulls him for this chat that we saw. Jess tells him, I'm mad at you because you about the filthy look that you gave me. He's like, how did I give you a filthy look? Saying that he's always had a resting bee face. And I wasn't disgusted about anything at all. Well, that wasn't enough for her. You know, and of course, Aaron laughs it off and calls the situation dumb. And then she goes into this whole hissy about, I don't want to be with someone that thinks that when I bring up something is dumb. And I felt that the way I feel is for a reason. And you're not going to tell me how to feel. I know what I saw. Okay, so he can't tell you how to feel, but you're going to tell him how he thought and felt in that moment. How does that work? Yeah. You know, I mean, they go into this back and forth. They don't understand each other. He said, you know, I've listened to what you have to say. Jess says, no, I've listened to what you have to say, but I don't believe it. I mean, so Aaron just got pissed off. He was like, you know what? F it. I can only take so much. And all this is blown out of effing nothing. And then she was like, what did you say? What did you say? And I'm like, you got to be kidding me right now. Because she said the whole thing was dumb too. He agreed and said it was dumb. And then turn around and say, don't call me and don't think what I think is dumb. I'm like, that is so toxic. First of all, stop gaslighting. Let's start right there. Because this man is now questioning he's second guessing himself, tracing, checking his steps from that point forward where he's questioning his own reality, knowing what he did or did not do. And you're projecting onto him your feelings about how you felt and making it his reality. But he can't tell you how to feel, but you can tell him what he's feeling and what he's thinking. Yeah. I was like, you know what? And I said this in episode 18 when she forgot, and I'll put that in parentheses, forgot to tell the other girls that they were exclusive. Oh, yeah, I forgot about it. I said yesterday, that girl is not as into him as Aaron is into her. I knew something was off, and sure enough, it manifested itself in this episode. So I don't know what's going to happen with these two. Maybe they'll kiss and make up and figure this out. Maybe, the show wanted to create some drama because none of that makes sense. None of it. But I hope they can work it out and figure it out, because other than that, the only two, three couples right now that's doing very well is Mitch and Tina, Zoe and Chris, and Michaela and Taku, and as they're building their new romance. So, yeah, I am so over now, Jess. Jess and Ryan and Lexi, I'm done. I'm done. We can just, like I said, I'll give a little grace to Jess. Maybe they can patch that up. But Lexi and Ryan, we need to deuce them out. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Looking forward to episode 20. Stay tuned for the teaser. And until those videos, we will see you soon.